The Tran-Siberian Orchestra's winter tour is coming to Oklahoma City. You've got the chance to see this incredible, dazzling holiday show for yourself. Here to tell us more about it, we've got one of the founding members and stars of the Tran-Siberian Orchestra. Al Petrelli is joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us on this pretty early, I'm sure, for a rock star.
Early, but it's okay, but thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit. We were talking off camera. You guys are playing 65 shows.
In about 45 days.
That's unbelievable. Do you even know where you're going tomorrow?
No.
I mean, after tomorrow, I should say.
Well, tomorrow's Oklahoma City, and then I think, I have no idea.
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
This is the time of year.
It can get a little confusing, but like we were talking about off air, it's grown up over 20 years. It didn't start out the deep end of the pool then. In '99, we did our first tour, I think, was 7 cities in about 10 days, and we had 2 buses and 1 truck. And we thought we were the coolest thing ever back then. And now it's grown up to where we have 20 semis, 12 buses, 80 crew members, you know, and to come back to Oklahoma City, I think this will be the 17th or 18th time we've been here.
Wow. And I know
awesome.
I've definitely seen you guys at the Chesapeake Energy Arena. Back then it was called the Ford Center. But talk a little bit, I was going to ask you how it's grown, and you mentioned how many more semi-trucks it takes, but how has the actual show grown? Because the laser light show was amazing whenever I saw it. You guys have pyrotechnics going on too. Just talk a little bit more about the actual show itself and just how it's kind of grown in 20 years.
Well, it started out, the centerpiece of the show was always the story that was written by Paul O'Neill. The Ghost of Christmas Eve has become like a perennial favorite. We filmed that, I think, in 1997 or 98. And when it hit TV, everybody fell in love with it like they did the records we had put out. That's the middle of the show, but it's surrounded with more pyro, lasers, moving trusses, video screens. There's lifts that come out of the front stage. At the back of the arena, there's a whole nother stage with lifts. Half the band's flying through the air all night. I mean, it's just the kind of thing that every year Paul O'Neill and his family and our department heads have just kind of pushed the envelope production-wise. Because if we did a good show last year, that's great. We're very proud of what we did last year, but that's not good enough for this year. Yeah. It's like having a Super Bowl team. Just because you won the Super Bowl last year, it's not guaranteed you're going to win it again this year.
Good point.
So every year we want to make it bigger, we want to make it better, because the folks that have embraced us as their own expect that from us. You know, we have 2 kind of people that are in the arenas. First-timers and our repeat offenders. And first-timers have absolutely no clue as to what they're going to get. And the repeat offenders know that every year it's bigger and crazier.
Yeah, it's different every time you go see it, which is why you have to keep coming back to see the show.
We do change it quite a bit, yeah.
And then how many members, as I was on your website, I mean, how many actual musicians are up there on that stage each night?
Well, the band has 8 singers, a 7-piece band, and a 6-piece string section. So
it's huge.
It's pretty huge. But to replicate what we recorded, that's what we have to do. We have some of the greatest players on God's earth with us.
Yeah.
And so many singers, because each one of the characters in Paul's stories has to come to life. You know, so each one of them is not only singing a song, but they're really bringing the character's story to life.
And talk a little bit about the story. It is a very emotional story behind this as well.
Well, Christmas is one of those weird holidays. You know, it's not always a joyous occasion for everybody. And what we noticed was, Paul's story, The Ghost of Christmas Eve, is about a teenage runaway who finds herself lost in some old abandoned theater, and she just wants to go home. She's cold, she's scared, she's lonely. She doesn't remember why she left. Her parents don't remember what the fight was about. And of course, in a very Frank Capra-esque manner, Paul's stories always have a happy ending. What we noticed is that everybody in the audience and most everybody on stage related to that story, because we all miss somebody around the holidays. And I think that's the chord he hit.
Good point.
You know, like, I've lost people in my life that I'll miss until I meet them in the afterworld. I have 3 children that are grown up and 2 little girls that are home, but my 3 boys, they're all out having their own lives, 2 of which are in the military.
Oh, wow.
You know, so when some of the songs are played, you know, I'll get a lump in my throat because I miss them.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not going to see them this Christmas, you know. So, and everybody in the audience has a moment in the show where they can relate to the character and relate to the story, because everybody misses somebody, whether they've left, whether you got in the fight, whether life kicks in.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Oh my God, thank you.
And there's a huge charity aspect to this. I know you guys give back to charities, you know, for every show. So check out the Tran-Siberian Orchestra. It's tomorrow night, 7:30, Chesapeake Energy Arena, and go and see this holiday classic. We'll be right back.